Okay, so we're back. Once again, thank you for taking the time to check this out if you are. Right now, I'm at a new room. It's the MITRE room. Looks like medium level, about 30 minutes. I decided to record this one because I see this on a lot of job applications. This is something companies find really important and large organizations as well. So I thought this would be something I should really pay attention to and really take the time to make a video about and just show me going through the process just so I can show that this is something that I have done and I'm getting a feel for my future career. So thank you again for watching. I'll probably skip through the rooms a little bit because they seem like they're very basic and I don't want to waste anyone's time. I know for sure I'll learn it from my perspective, but I will pause it and jump from area to area just to find areas that I think are most important. So like this one, for example, task 2 is just basic terminology. I feel like it's not very interesting and it doesn't really show someone is learning. So I try to focus more on like the rooms and the little objectives. But thanks again for watching and check out my video. Thank you. I also tend to sometimes take notes. So that's when I'll pause too to jump back and forth and take notes and things like that. So don't mind me at all. Just enjoy the video. So first up is the attack framework. It looks like it's the first one out of the 5, I believe it has. And this one actually has a couple of questions we can answer. So this is definitely something that I'll take notes of and show throughout the video just to show that I'm getting some sort of understanding. And also because I feel like it's really important just to answer these questions and go through them all at once. So far they've navigated us through the attack framework website, which is just the MITRE Attack framework website, and it just shows us all of these different type of categories of how um, adversaries and enemies have pretty much hacked into things and taken accounts over and just done these different 14 different initial techniques to do things such as like phishing. They have all type of things like deploy containers, spear phishing, create accounts, clipboard data, browser session hijacking. A lot of this you do learn inside the Security Plus, so it's refreshing to see some of this and try to re-jog my memory. But it's very cool to see things like this that are out. And like once you click on something, it like gives you all type of examples of like when it actually happens. So this is actually really cool to see, really interesting stuff because I don't know, it kind of scares me in a way, but also it's like very crazy to see like how many attacks actually happen and how they can happen to such major corporations. Looks like right now we're focused on phishing and we're looking at some of the subcategories right now. So I'll come back when I get closer to answering questions or see something else that's pretty cool that I find interesting. So they've taken us to the attack navigator, which is just another way of looking at the attack framework, but looks like it's more on a different background. I don't really understand where it comes from. Um, but looks like it's designed to provide basic navigation and annotation of attack matrices. So just another way. It's just another tool you can use to go through the attack framework and like look at very similar things and look at the different ways to get hacked or attacked from things that have been studied or written down before, kept record of basically. So I saw this question earlier. Besides blue teamers, who else will use the attack matrix? I believe it's red teamers. I don't know why they give us the answer, but it looks like that's what that is. But I remember seeing it back up here. This tool is also useful for red teamers. So I believe that that's it right there. We'll just go ahead and put that in. Okay, let's see what happens. Correct answer. We'll take it. What is the ID for this technique? Wait. So I will say some of the questions on TryHackMe are a little confusing. I have to try to figure them out. You can use hint, but I feel like they don't honestly help you a lot of times. So it's almost like a guessing game, but they're asking for the ID for this technique. By this technique, I guess they mean phishing page. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll go and double check and see what I can figure out myself. But it looks like with the phishing technique, it looks like ID T1566. Not 100% sure if that's true, but I'll try it out. Okay, that was correct. But I feel like they should be more specific. I don't know. It's kind of confusing because they're just saying this technique. I know they said up here it's recommended to start with the phishing page, so that's fine, but they could have re-referenced that just so it could be a little bit more clear. It is a little confusing, but sometimes it just takes a little bit extra thinking on your part, the person who's doing it, but they could be a little bit more clear, I'll be honest. So the next question asks, off the same page, based on this technique, what mitigation covers identifying social engineering techniques? So it looks like I'm looking for a mitigation and social engineering techniques. So I found it, I believe it's mitigation is here next to ID. Not all of these have mitigation, so that gave me a good idea. And it's looking for the one that's talking about users can be trained to identify social engineering techniques and email. So I believe it's user training, not 100% sure, but we can double check right here. And correct, we'll take it. So I believe this is also a question for phishing. I'm not sure if it will let me know when I should switch over to the other options, but what are the data sources for detection? So if I go back here, I see detection and I'll look at data sources, this column right here. It's like application log, file, and network traffic, and it wants all three with no commas. I mean, with no spaces after the commas. So let's just put that there. Throw in a comma. And last one looks like it is network traffic. Oh, perfect. We'll place that in and correct answer. We will take it again. So the next one, I'm still looking through the phishing example. The question asks, what groups have used spear phishing in their campaigns? So I found them on this page here, just reading through the procedure examples. Looks like Axiom has used spear phishing to initially compromise victims, and Gold Southfield has conducted malicious spam campaigns to gain the access to the victim's machines. It doesn't say here spear phishing, but again, I think this is one of those weird questions that have weird answers, because the only thing that would fit this huge area would be Gold Southfield. The others are very short. High Kit and Royal would neither fit, but Axiom did say that they actually spearfished right here. This one said mouse spam, so I don't understand how that is the answer, but nevertheless, we found the correct answer. Okay, so skipping forward a little further, these are much longer than I thought they would be originally. So I have to shorten it up because most of my videos can only be about 15 minutes on my YouTube channel, because that's all it allows me to do at the moment. And we're only on task 5 out of 9, pretty much 8, because the last task is always just a easy click on. But we're on Engage at the moment, and we're looking through the Engage website matrix that we have here. So we're going to look through and find a couple answers to a couple questions, and then we'll maybe skip through all the way to task 6. We'll see. Okay, so pretty easy one. First question is under prepare. What is IDSAC02? After coming over to prepare, which is right here, it has a couple of the stages of the engage MITRE attack model. And if you go down to, I believe, persona creation, here we go, IDSAC02, plan to create a fictitious human user through a combination of planted data and revealed behavior patterns. Okay. I believe this is the same picture every single time. I don't really see a difference, but it's cool to still click through this and see what the different options are, like storyboarding is plan and create the deception story, just to like capture criminals, get them engaged with your trap, and then at some point expose them and stop them in their track. It seems what this is mostly about so far, which is pretty cool. Very interesting stuff. Like, man, it's almost like playing a game, but a very serious game. For the next one, looks like which engagement activity baits a specific response from the adversary. So I went on the operate section. I checked prepare and understand already. But I went to operate and I was checking through a couple of these. Didn't really make sense, but I went to detect because I feel like it wouldn't be under prevent, direct, or disrupt, reassure, motive. Well, maybe motivate. But I went through these here and I found lures, deceptive systems and artifacts intended to serve as decoys, breadcrumbs, or bait to elicit a specific response from the adversary, which is exactly what we're looking for. Let's go. Okay, so next up, we're on the defense section of the MITRE Attack, and they're asking for the first MITRE Attack technique listed in the attack lookup dropdown. Okay, so I believe I found it. Looks like there are little options here you can click on. They did say that this has a lot of options. Where's the number exactly? 408 artifacts in the matrix, and it's still in beta, so they said it can change a lot. So I'll be checking this out. I'll definitely bookmark this for future references. But attack lookup, the first one looks like data obfuscation. Wow, I can't say that word at all. But yeah, data obfuscation. Okay, let me stop embarrassing myself. But let's push on. Okay, so this one is actually pretty cool while using this defend module website. But it says, and defend and for relationships, what does the attack technique from the previous question produce? So looking at the previous question, that was data obfuscation. Oh my God, I cannot say that word. Obfuscation. So yeah, let's go here to attack lookup, data obfuscation, and looks like, what does the attack technique from the previous question produce? Isolate. Okay. Looks like it is outbound internet network traffic. And it has all these options here for detect, isolate. There's a plus sign, minus sign, so you can get rid of all of that. But it's just so crazy how advanced and cool this is, and it can lead to so many things and so many questions. I really envy people who take the time to go through every single one of these and just look at every single thing on here. We can take it from there and place it on through. Move on to task 7 and 8 to end off the video. Okay, so finishing up, we are finally on task number 8. Looks like task number 7. Had a little trouble with it. It was very cool though. We got to use the attack emulation plan, so that was very cool. Got to look through this. Is more of like a GitHub type of open source section, but I had fun with it. And now we're moving on to the final section, which goes on to attack and threat intelligence. With the first question, it asks, what is a group that targets your sector who has been in operation since 2013? And we're in aviation, looks like, and moving towards a cloud infrastructure, which I am very excited about. I do have my AWS cloud practitioner, so I do know a little about AWS and the cloud in general. So I came over to the group section on MITRE, looked up aviation using Control F, and I found APT33, which we've heard in the past. So let's see if this is the answer. For the next one, I was a little stumbled, but I thought about it, was looking for the cloud, so I did another Control F to search up any words that dealt with cloud to see if there were any descriptions, and I found something called cloud accounts. So let's try that out. Okay, for the next question, it asks, referring to question 2, which was cloud accounts, what mitigation will be used for its implementation. So I went to cloud accounts, scrolled down to mitigations, and control found the one that was for SMS for messages, and it looks like multi-factor authentication, which makes perfect sense in this scenario. That way you can sort of have that second backup factor when you're doing text messages, basically. Okay, and to finish everything off, the final question is, what platform does the technique from question 2 affect? So I went back to cloud accounts and I searched around a little bit, and what I found was right here on the right side, platforms. We're going to copy and paste that. Looks like Azure, Google Space, IaaS, infrastructure as a service, Office 365, and software as a service. So go ahead and plug that in for the final answer. And we're all finished. Thank you guys again for watching this. The conclusion is usually just a complete section, usually just a summary. But I had a lot of fun doing this. So this one was so much more complicated than I thought it would actually be. But once again, thank you guys for watching, and I greatly appreciate you if you took the time to watch at all.